Have you ever stopped to think about how a simple meal can tell a story? I mean, a story that's more powerful than 1,000 words of description? Today, that's exactly what we're diving into. We're not just looking at food, we're going to explore how food itself can become a character, a setting, and even a plot device, all rolled into one. So that's really the big question we're tackling today. For anyone out there who's a writer, an artist, or hey, just someone who loves a good story, food isn't just fuel. It's this incredibly powerful tool for world building. It can scream emotion, whisper history, and paint a picture of a place with just a few little sensory details. And to really get our hands dirty, we're going to focus on one specific vibe, what our source material calls a northern mountain energy. I love that phrase. Think about it, quiet strength. It's like a whole language that's spoken through hearty, fire-based cooking. It's all about survival, about warmth, and this deep, unspoken connection to a landscape that's both harsh and beautiful. So our journey has to start where pretty much all mountain stories do, right at the hearth. You got to understand, this isn't just a stove, it's the absolute center of survival. It's the only source of light and warmth against a biting cold. It's everything. Okay, just listen to this description. A thick root, vegetable, and lamb stew. You can almost feel the warmth coming off the screen, can't you? See, this isn't just about what's for dinner. It's a whole scene, a perfect little moment of safety and tradition, all captured in a single simmering pot. So let's break that down. What's so powerful here are the words themselves. Slow, rustic cooking? That's not just a recipe step, right? That tells you about patience, about tradition. And phrases like firelight glow or silence in warmth, those aren't just descriptions, they are the feeling of the scene. They're communicating this deep, primal sense of security, of being sheltered. Okay, let's try another one. Hand-pressed mountain flatbread. You can almost feel the texture in those words. The simple act of pressing dough by hand, the little imperfections like blistered edges, it all feels so real, so grounded. And this is where the magic really happens, right? It's all in those tiny details. Blistered edges tells you this was cooked fast, on high heat. A frost-covered window immediately tells you it's freezing outside, which makes that cozy amber light inside feel 10 times more precious. It's these little things that make a scene feel authentic, like someone actually lives there. All right, so we've got the cozy, safe hearth down, but what about when you have to leave that hearth? Now we're going to see how food shifts from being about comfort to being about fuel, the raw energy you need to face that harsh world outside. The story is changing gears. Wow, you can feel the change in energy, right? We're talking thick-cut venison seared over an open flame. The words themselves evoke primal mountain strength. The language is so direct, so powerful, almost unrefined. This isn't about a slow, simmering comfort anymore. This is about raw, immediate power. And here's the really brilliant part. It's what's left out that tells the story. There are no complicated herbs, no fancy sauces. The whole meal is boiled down to its absolute essentials: fire, meat, salt. And that simplicity is totally intentional. It communicates a world where there is no time for frills. There's only time for what gives you strength. And here we see that strength being prepared for the day ahead. The sound of something sizzling in cast iron, the setting of early dawn light. It creates this mood of quiet, focused preparation. This is the meal of someone who knows they have a long, hard day waiting for them, and they are methodically getting ready to face it. All right, get ready, because this is where it all comes together. The emotional peak of this whole culinary journey. This is where food becomes more than just comfort or fuel. It becomes a fortress, a powerful, powerful symbol of refuge against a hostile world. Feel the drama in this. A dark, rich stew bubbling while wind howls outside. The contrast is just immediate and so intense. You have this tiny pocket of warmth and life, the lantern-lit cabin, literally holding out against the chaos of the storm. The entire power of the scene comes from that contrast. It's this push and pull, right? The gentle sound of a bubbling stew is made infinitely more comforting because of the howling wind outside. The warmth of the lantern feels more profound because of the crushing darkness of the storm. This meal isn't just a meal, it's a story of survival. Every single spoonful is a tiny victory against the storm. So let's actually put these two moments side by side, because it really drives the point home. On one hand, you have the hunter's morning skillet. It's defined by pale blue light and quiet cooking. The whole feeling is one of discipline. On the other hand, you have the snowstorm night stew. That's all loud fire and howling wind.
The feeling there is one of urgent shelter. The food might be simple in both, but the context completely changes the story.
And after surviving that storm, what could possibly be a better reward? I mean, come on, melted aged cheese. It's the definition of simple perfection. With the most minimal ingredients, you get the absolute maximum warmth and satisfaction. It's basically a sigh of relief in food form.
Okay, so we've seen all these incredibly evocative examples, but the real question is, how can you use this stuff? Let's reframe everything we've talked about into a practical, actionable toolkit for building your own scenes and stories. It really comes down to a simple 3-step recipe. First, who's your character? Is it a lone guardian keeping watch, or a big family gathered together? Second, what's the context? Is it a quiet dawn or a raging blizzard? And finally, you pick the meal that best reflects that character in that specific moment. And just look at how these choices totally change the narrative. That same stew we talked about, serve it in a single bowl, and it tells a story of solitude, of self-reliance. But serve that same stew at a long table with many bowls, and suddenly it's a story about community and warmth. See? The context is everything.
So here it is, the bottom line. The food is never just food. It's an active participant. It literally becomes a character in your story. It defines the mood, it raises the stakes, and it builds the world around everyone else. It's a kind of emotional shorthand. Which really just leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The next time you sit down to eat, or the next time you write a scene that has a meal on it, just stop and think about the narrative. Is it a story of quiet discipline, of shared warmth, or is it a story of shelter from the storm? What story will your next meal tell?